Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday, and that means we've got the Paladins Minor League for you. Of course, I'm Dolson. Alongside me is Rain Day to start off the day. The final day of Minor League for the split, Evan.
Man, what a tremendous journey it's been for all these teams, for all of us, for all the fans out there. Just want to give our sincere thanks to everyone who participated and is participating today. It's going to be nice to wrap this up.
Absolutely. Of course, the first set of the day is going to be taking place over in Europe, where we have the standings right here for you. Of course, Penta in first place with only one loss to their name this entire split.
Yeah.
8-3, 3-8, 1-10. Actually, very symmetrical across the board. Game plus minus, map plus minus.
Yep.
All looking good over here in Europe. Of course, our first game is going to be Sour Team and All Business, so that second and third slot. And All Business has had, I would say, some ups and downs throughout the split. I mean, 3-8, they found some wins, and they have some players that can make big plays. But going against Sour Team today, it could be a little tough.
Yeah, I mean, you look at these kind of 20 guys that are on these four teams, and you say, this is probably a collection of the most veteran Paladins players in Europe that exist in the world. I mean, obviously, these guys have been playing, you look at Ninu and you look at Perdo and Shipa in the PPL before, and now have taken a step back, not wanting to fully commit to their transition here to the States. But also, I mean, just been playing for so long and not really wanting to give the game up. So even with All Business's side, they've got veterans. They've got abilities to really change the pace of and the outcome of these matches.
And Ineffable as well on the side of All Business is a guy that I've really liked to watch kind of his growth throughout this split. And that, I mean, his team in general has kind of had a tough go of things, but he's always a guy I look towards in a lot of these games. I mean, he keeps All Business in a lot of these games, I think. And I expect him to have a good performance today as well.
He's a great player, and what I like about him is that he really just complements his team very nicely. Sometimes you just need a very strong hit scan player to be able to hold down some of the main roles in Paladins and really give you an edge. And that edge could be the sniping edge because, you know, it is more of a niche. Ineffable does that really well, and he also brings a level of, I think, just security to their performance that allows Closar to have some ups and downs, that allows him to flex on things like the pip, and that really helps their squad.
And, of course, looking over at Sour Team, they've had a very successful split up to this point. 8-3, only 3 losses. A bunch of those coming at the hands of Penta, of course, and Ninu on this roster. I mean, 2.6 KDA, 90k damage on average. He can flex onto the sky. He can flex onto sort of whatever you need him to. Nice triple kill here in this clip. What does he mean to this Sour Team squad?
Ninu really is their it's hard to say that he's a flex monster, but in my opinion, he's the most important member of the Sour Team roster because Perdo and Shipa, you almost know exactly what you're going to get with them. And really the wild card, and maybe for a lack of duration, maybe for a lack of experience, not for a lack of having some star-studded moments, is Ninu. Is he going to give you that consistent star-stud? If I was to compare him to someone that I usually talk about in this fashion in the PPL, it would be the Evil Eye, to where he can give you this day where you just are like, wow, this guy is on fire, we can't touch him, or he can show up a little bit more lackluster. Evil Eye started to improve that, more consistency. I've seen Ninu do that as well. I'd like to see that today.
Well, of course, we are going to get to jump into Ice Mines. For map number
Ice Mines.
Just jump right on in there.
Let's do it.
I love the intro music. We haven't given a shout out to the house band in the good.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. So shout out to the house band. We'll hear them.
In
a second. I think I hear the instruments being tuned as we speak. So they're going to be ready to play us into Ice Mines, of course. Interesting bands here for Sour Team. Bomb King and Drogos off the board right off the bat. And this is something interesting we saw in the console league yesterday, of course. The way these standings are right now, there's no movement, even seeding-wise, that's able to be done for some of these teams. So some teams yesterday having some fun, throwing out some interesting strategies, just really trying to wrap up the split in a fun way. So maybe a little bit more of the same today from these guys. Right off the bat, though, Bomb King Drogos.
It's very possible that we'll see Sour Team try to lend themselves towards Ninu's ability to flex, because he's a very flexible player. But Closar is as well, and he likes the pip, and so that's what he'll go for immediately, taking away one of the other primary blasters. But this is not a problem. Ninu is excellent on the EV. It's a top 2-3 pick in the PPL. I would not be surprised if Sour Team grab that up sooner than later, although there are still kind of an important decision to make as in your front lines. And of course, Cassie here comes through third.
Cassie, one of the biggest picks in many of our leagues here, and she has an impact on most of the games that she's in, so not surprising seeing her go. What is surprising to me is seeing Genos go 6th, I guess, in this case. I mean, of course, Damba going first, or second pick, rather, for Sour Team here. Genos does get taken off the board, but it's 6th here for All Business.
Yeah, and the Genos Bear Con Pip, I mean, this is a great draft for All Business, but it does feel like Sour Team know what they're doing. And with the Moldamba and the Inara, and especially with the Cassie, it is enough to tear through this team and have enough pressure.
Yeah.
And I think the Con and the Atlas, what I like about Sour Team here is they prioritize the kind of the stability combo that they want with the healer and the front line. And they know that Khan being picked up early means Atlas is probably going to be on the table for them. But here's something that we're all so excited to see. The first Willow of the entire split, Dave, from console to PML to PPL.
What does Willow bring to the table? Introduce Willow to our viewers.
What a great thing to showcase, and it's really so good at shutting down healing because that dead zone brings something that most people do not get to see in Paladins at all, which is full anti-heal. No healing in that circle. But she also brings another layer of damage. And if she's going to run Blast Flower, it's scaling damage to a weapon that hits in a big AoE, but is not threatening until you get a couple of shots onto it. So the question is, are they going to position that way to try to kind of stay in line of sight? Her seedling as well, an incredible kind of, it's almost a firebomb, so to speak, Dave, and they'll be competing with that firebomb from Tyra. Just really excited to see it happen.
Well, it's going to happen eventually, and it's the last day of the minor league where we get to see a Willow float her way into this one. I'm excited to see it, especially on Ice Mines. I think I saw some gameplay at some point of her, maybe on Stone Keep. There was emoji running around as well, but either way, Ninu, of course, we talked about him in the pregame. He's going to be the one flexing onto that Willow. You see anything in the cards that jumps out to you here?
It's just really sparkle for something we haven't seen a lot. Spryfly was a huge aspect, and of course, Just Believe, reducing the cooldowns off eliminations is very, very key to Willow. She has high cooldowns for her dead zone and for her seedling, so she relies on reducing them through finding kills herself. That's one of the biggest conversation pieces about it, and it'll give us a little bit of time as well to talk about what this means. For notably a little bit less, and so what I like, Dave, is the initial positioning from this.
Yeah.
And you'll notice the seedling as we kind of come back to both of us here to talk a little bit more about it. Willow is just a dynamic that you don't see often, and there's a reason for it. She used to be extremely, extremely valuable in earlier splits because of the damage on a talent that allowed her to burst down opponents while also doing anti-heal. It got added. It was 800 damage. It was immediate no healing. And with that in a shot, you were about 1,300 damage already through finishing someone off. And it just happened in an AoE and out of nowhere. So people, when that nerf happened, took it from 800 to 500. They stopped prioritizing her.
Sure.
But the question remained, is she still viable? Can she just shift it up? I mean, going from a top pick, not a top pick at all, to 300, because of 300 damage, is that worth it? We're going to see a little bit here today. It's fun.
If nothing else, this is a good temperature gauge for kind of where Willow's at. I mean, Sour Team, of course, a very good team here in the minor league. So if there's a team that can make Willow work, I mean, it's definitely going to be on the side of Sour Team. I mean, the initial positioning, as you said, I mean, kind of hanging up on that high ground, throwing out some shots, but then getting aggressive just at the last moment there. So we'll have to see how all of that plays out.
Yeah.
But of course, notably the Bomb King and Drogos bands, I think, opened up
absolutely
a little bit of the other blasters here on this map, and already Ninu finds himself a kill.
And it is Blast Flower, and that's what he's going for, and that's why he's got the seething as well. It's great zone potential. On Ice Mines, you're probably going to see the ability for Ninu to hit and splash onto people more so than any other map. And even though that Battle Shout hits, it still registers as a stack, so he's going to hit for 776, 800 for a full damage explosion. And that seedling just to zone them away. This is already Sour Team's point, Dave.
And a little extra zoning as well. The seeds on the ground explode when you're just a little bit too close here. Ninu already on a tear to start things off here. 1-0 to Sour Team already in this game. Just a couple kills is all they needed. And this is sort of indicative of what we see on Ice Mines, where one team will pretty heavily win the initial engagement on the point. And then they're able to zone out the enemy team, keep them anywhere away from getting onto that point right there. Sheep fighting off a little bit too much right there. The second chance, of course, is going to give him, well, a second chance at life in this one. The Crossfire comes out and buys some poke here on Ninu. Of course, the Willow ultimate allows for flying for a brief period of time. Good answer back here from All Business. 3 kills is going to stall out this Sour Team push.
And I think that's a huge aspect to one of the reasons why, when you talk about why is this Willow picked up, I think a huge aspect is this Pip. And one of the things that Pip does is he gives you that burst heal, and he kind of bails himself out of situations. Big Dread Serpent here to interrupt it as there's a good kill, and Perdo finds 2. But one thing that Will is going to shut down is that ability for Pip to bail almost anyone out. And if he's just careful with it, that evil potion, that evil mojo, that potion, so to speak, is going to not really find a lot of value.
And it's funny, we talk about the intro of Willow into this game and how that's kind of a big thing to talk about because you don't get to see her very often.
Yep.
But then, of course, you have, Cassie in the hands of Sour Team right now, and that's about as tried and true as it comes, especially when Perdeaux is the one piloting the Cassie. You see a good example of that there. A nice double kill from the Ranger to start off this push yet again. They, for a moment, were pushed back. Perdeaux now getting cleaned up as I'm speaking about him. And that's going to stall things out just for a moment here. They do have 3 ultimates ready for Sour Team. 3 ultimates as well on the side of All Business. Sheepa gets a little low. Xenos cleans that one up. Looks like they're just going to back off and regroup here.
And as you see a little bit of a shift here towards the defense being able to push, Closar really needs to find his rhythm. They picked this Pip early. They want a lot to come off of it. They've also got Luminary. And so All Business have a couple of plans here with the Hunter's Mark, with Luminary, with this Catalyst Pip to try to burst people down. But here it is. Willow up into the air. Big stun as well. Good shots, Dave.
Shots raining down from above here for Ninu. That's good for a kill. Perdeaux's good for 2 now in this fight. Yeah, healer's gone now. Perdeaux with a triple kill on the Cassie. Overtime's ticking away, but this payload, it's even closer. And this one could go through if they're able to stagger out the remaining kills here. Of course, damage dealt. Top 2 going over to the Willow and the Cassie this time. That's a good firebomb just to get a little bit of zoning. Force Perdeaux back, but instead he's going to choose to get aggressive here. That's good healing there, and a good evil mojo goes on to 2. Xenos is able to clean up one of them, but Ninu answers right back with one onto Closar. This payload's either going in or it's timing out.
Yeah.
It looks like it times out.
Unfortunately, Zarini can't get enough healing in time, and I think Jopies actually dies earlier in that fight, but really good rotation. Ninu up into the air on the Fae flight and comes down with just an immense amount of pressure. That was the moment right there. The dead zone goes down, and normally Closar are able to bail himself out, but 0 healing in that dead zone, and it only lasts, I believe, for a 1.5 seconds, so he can't get out of it and just wait and pop that heal. But in those moments where there's too much damage coming through, I mean, he'd take away one of his abilities, and that is a really good counter to this lineup.
Just a massive amount of utility there, of course. 5-1 and 5, so Ninu flexing the Willow muscles to start off this one here in Ice Mine. 6-2 and 3 for Perdeaux. So the damage dealers on your team doing exactly what you would hope for them to do. Of course, the doors really being opened here. Sheepa had some good second chances there. Really timing his abilities well. I saw in the first half of this push here where he would get very, very low, use the second chance at the exact right moment, give himself a nice topped off health bar, and get right back into the fight. A good setback here onto William Birkin, forces the Barrack away. The overpower through from Xenos as well, but that's right onto Ninu, so there goes some damage, but that's a good Dread Serpent, but there's not enough follow-up damage to clean up Sheepa there. Xenos and Closar are going to add another couple here, and things are going All Business's way.
I think Sheepa just lost track of maybe the moment there. I don't know if there would have been time. But in exile onto the 2 members pursuing him, he might have been able to buy enough time away from damage to maybe buy a few more seconds and then get a second chance to maybe get some health back. Obviously, it's so hard to min-max that moment when you've got 4 things coming at you. That's why pressure's so big in Paladins. I mean, sometimes you just put people into bad situations and they can't think fast enough. Oh, through time and space, almost catches them. And luckily, he'll get out.
You can see he nearly touched the ground right in there and then was able to regain just a little bit of flight, but 99, they're not able to break the zone, and All Business, they take the lead here on Ice Mines. Some teams go here and elect to just play defense for 3 points and then hopefully win the final team fight, but that's not what All Business are looking to do here. They win the 2nd point now and are pushing to make it 3.
And Dave, you know what was so great about that is the way that All Business respond to finding out what the issue is with their lineup and why Sour Team is successful in this map. And the Willow isolated early with an overpower. It almost cost Khan his life, but it gets a Dread Serpent for all intents and purposes, because then Khan stays alive, Dread Serpent doesn't get a kill, and now they've got no peel for when that final push comes onto Atlas as Sheepa and Zarini as the Inara. So it's really, really good play from All Business.
Yeah, absolutely. A well-timed team fight there. From the red side right now. Ninu is going to start off the defense very well here for Sour Team, force All Business back just with 1 kill onto Ineffable. He's playing dangerously as well on this Willow. I guess you can with a little bit of the mobility that she provides, but getting very, very low here, nearly getting taken down, but the shots are good. William Birkin gets taken out here. And And there's the ultimate flying through, using it basically on cooldown every time it's up is Ninu. He's really just forcing All Business to back off and try to regroup, but they're not going to give him a moment to breathe right now. Now he's getting up into the face of the healer. Is he able to win this duel? You would hope so, but he does. He ends up hitting the final important shot. And if nothing else, that just buys him a little bit more time.
And that is why he has his loadout the way he does. I'll harken back to the card Sprite Fly, which is all about damage reduction after Flutter. It's 3 seconds, but 20% damage reduction means that for every 100 damage you're doing, essentially, you're only really doing 80 to him. And he ends up with about 87 health, so to speak. Genos shooting pretty quickly, but not able to really contend. So you'll see him flutter when he gets into these bad situations. Sometimes it'll be enough, sometimes it won't. That time, Xenos got the better of him.
And then, of course, the one card adding 50 health, and that's, a little bit nitpicky, but here and there, it could end up winning you engagements. Just coming up on the end of that one to Xenos. Here, 23 seconds remaining. 2 kills for All Business are going to allow them to move forward in the map here and try to get back onto this payload. We saw Sour Team in a very similar situation last round where they did not have a lot of time, but they're able to get back onto the payload. That's just sort of the way Ice Mines goes. If all the kills start going in your favor and you get back onto the payload, it could start moving forward very, very quickly for you, even with overtime right here. I mean, this is still a very winnable distance for All Business, but unfortunately, Zarini opens up with the first. Ninu adds the second. That's going to do it. 2-2 here after a successful Sour Team defense.
Great stuff from both teams. Good adjustment. Ninu he kind of risks kind of trying to bait that out and hiding around one of the walls, which can actually cancel the overpower if you kind of bait con out that way. But he just gets it wrong, and then Xenos has his way with the fight. That's 2. It's essentially 3 kills off of it. Misses the commander's grab, but it doesn't really matter. At that point, the fight is won. Sour Team, as you can tell, have a pace to them. They have to get this Willow firing, finding stacks early to be a threat. Even though doing a lot of damage, they still have to protect her long enough, and All Business need to keep attacking quickly.
And this is another mid-fight that'll be similar to the last one in the sense that both teams are very topped off, I should say, ultimate-wise. Only the Dread Serpent is down, but at 79%. That'll be up very shortly. So Sour Team and All Business maybe going toe-to-toe in the same way. Of course, the overpower was huge last time around for Xenos, getting it right onto Ninu, exactly who you wanted on there. In a similar position right now. He could find one. But the Exile, he's not going to let him play. And this one, the second Exile, and the blasts come through, but he's able to heal right up through it. Klosar is the only kill in this engagement so far, and he has the Evil Mojo under Zarini as well. Look how aggressive he's getting. So much damage onto the side of Sour Team. But Ninu, he's up and flying now.
I think Klosar had the right idea, but just the wrong character. I think they should have pushed, but it just should have been a front line. They find the kills anyways, but Klosar does not need to die there. He backs off. His whole team's ready to push. He takes backline support, and that pip slow and damage coming from that angle, I mean, it's just impossible. They win the fight anyways because of really good ult decision-making from All Business. They're keen on winning this game. Zarini, last man standing, but he's going to go down quickly.
He throws down the seismic crash, maybe just to buy some time, but time runs out.
You can't buy time.
They're a team out of time.
That's what you realize.
Unless you're Atlas, you can buy.
Unless you're supernatural,
on cooldown, you can buy time.
But you just gotta appreciate the time you have, and money can buy you a lot of things, but it can't buy you time, and that's what a lot of people end up realizing is the most valuable resource in life.
We're taking a fields trip right now.
We are.
Hop on the bus. We're going on a fields trip.
Hop on. That's a good one.
That'd be a great Magic School Bus episode.
Yeah, it would be. By the way, big Magic School Bus fan growing up in the day.
Big Magic School Bus guy?
Yeah. Were you?
Who wasn't?
Who
wasn't? Great.
On the Magic School Bus. Just a great time.
Yeah. Great show, top to bottom here.
I'm not sure if these kids watching even remember that day. Were they even born? Some of these youngins.
I mean, that was like you'd walk into science class, the VCR would be in there waiting.
Oh, man.
And you knew you were in for a treat.
Do they know what a VCR is? It's weird to think.
If
you're a 14-year-old right now watching, I don't know.
You shouldn't. Actually, it might be on Netflix. I'm not sure. Either way, All Business does capture the 3rd point of the match. So they're pushing for the win right now, but Sour Team's not giving them a moment to breathe.
Yeah.
This is way pushed back into the All Business base right now. The Evil Mojo is going to be good from Klosar there, so he fights his way back to the payload here, and he's actually alone. There's members of Sour Team fighting behind him. They're, of course, going to be respawning in front of him, so there's not going to be a free and open lane for him to push this one through. Sheepa is the only one who was behind Klosar in this moment, but he's back and respawning here. But what's important is he was able to get this payload moving forward, so it's in the same spot that the game died out last time, but with 45 seconds remaining rather than overtime, so they probably have a shot or two at it, depending on the way these fights go. Sour Team almost fully ulted up now. All Business has a couple down through time and space, and Evil Mojo notably were used in that final fight there. Zerini with some great long-range shots there onto William Birkin, cleans up that kill. So that sets up Sour Team very nicely. They have 5 ultimates now.
Yeah.
With 20 seconds left, one is going to be returning from the base of All Business. And Closar, he's been hitting some pretty good shots on this pip so far.
I mean, half health, one shot. 1163, you're burning into a 2200 champion. More than half of their HP. I mean, that's just going to surprise people. I think it's just the great positioning coming through, taking this high ground, holding these angles, and the strength of Purdue to apply pressure, not only from a wrecker position, but also just to a frontline position. Ineffable now trying to get him out of the fight, which is what needs to happen. They found kills, but unfortunately, William Birkin is dead. They're not going to be able to get to this unless Khan makes a step down. He finally has, but Chiba still wants to climb, and they're just running with really low health pools right now.
And this is where the respawn advantage is so far in favor of Sour Team, but they're all dying so fast it might not even matter. Ineffable, the crossfire comes through, but the Anar wall is going to block out a good portion of that. But three members dead, 3 members respawning right now for Sour Team, but he gets stunned out and he can't get the touch around the box.
Xenos makes a huge mistake there. Absolutely no reason to go behind the box for the stun. You're going to get stunned either way, but he goes out of the contest range for the payload. And Ninu dies shortly thereafter. Might have been worried about maybe hitting some of those early shots onto him, but at that point, you just have to stay and contest that. You can't do anything else if you don't.
Yep.
It's just a bit of a gamble that goes the wrong way.
Yeah, and, the timing, I think, just very, very unfortunate there. Ineffable had a great finish to the end of that last round. He found actually some very nice long-range shots, which gets surprisingly hard the more you fire, of course. Those crosshairs will spread out, and he hit some beautiful shots onto Ninu there to give his team a chance. Unfortunately, when it really came down to it, they fell just short. So we are going to have a 3-3 point fight here.
Yeah.
To start off the day. Couldn't start off the day any other way.
No, you couldn't. And you question mark. So, okay, I was going to say, Zerini, I think, needs the mark onto him. You've got to get the pressure onto the Inara. And I like this because what their big strategy is for the side of Sour Team is apply pressure onto the point. They've got 36%. It's final round. You've got to kind of start dealing with this.
Yep.
Through time and space just gives them space and time, and that ends up working out Dome Shield as well, Dave. And Zerini still has that little mark onto him, but that's going to do a lot of damage.
Down comes the Dome Shield as well. It's a little bit defensive. There's a good Dread Serpent, but it doesn't look like there's too much follow-up onto it. Ineffable is pouring out damage from the grenade launcher as well as the firebomb, and All Business are now fighting from the point here. Sour Team needs to not only win, but they need to win and then get a touch onto the point. William Birkin's going to see to it that doesn't happen. He saved the overpower just for the healer. This could be it. All Business with 99%. The kills are all red.
Wow.
Double kill from Xenost. What a great game he's had on the con, and this looks like it's going to tick away, and All Business is going to find the win.
Well, boy, oh boy, does he make up for it. In that last moment, just kind of slips away, goes out of the contest range as the only tank. Maybe miscommunication by the whole team, but the idea is that he shows up big at the end.
Yeah.
Huge plays. His presence on Khan, particularly with the overpowers, to change the way that Nina was playing and finding damage. He forced Sheepa to go back and try to protect him. It was really good play. It really was a Khan-dominated game, and their team composition worked nicely.
The overpowers throughout the game as well. I mean, he had individual kills just with his auto fire, his primary attack, but the overpower onto Ninu to help win that one team fight.
Yeah.
All Business had it figured out in that one. They actually find win number 1 here in this set against Sour Team as we take a dive into the stats, maybe peel back the layers a little bit. I mean, still lots of damage. Most of the damage coming through from Sour Team.
Yeah.
But All Business, they had the healing. They were able to fight through it. Closar, of course, with 36,000 healing, but that's kind of what Pip brings to the table anyway.
And this is a game that, because it's Ice Mines, goes the way of All Business, but on Stone Keep, maybe on a Jaguar Falls, maybe not Jaguar Falls, but maybe Bright Marsh, probably would have gone the way of Sour Team because of the way that these characters utilize space. The ability for Tyra to stay essentially protected without threat the entire time and just have that extra damage boost going onto the Inara took away one of her main strengths, whereas Tyra's main weakness is the ability to get jumped on by opponents. And Ninu had no ability, no channel to get there. There was no real easy way for Purdue to get back there. Sheepa had to stay with Ninu after that first part. So it was just I think it was just a great pickup for Ice Mines.
Agreed.
It's a good play here, too.
In all business, I mean, this really shows, I think, some of the contention that the minor league brings, and that, of course, the top team in Pentas, 10-1, then 8-3.
Yeah.
I mean, the win-loss columns look sometimes very lopsided, but that goes to show this does at least that any team any given day can at least take a map off the other. Sour team will look to bounce back on Serpent Beach. 4-3, of course, Ice Mines going the way of all business. And Serpent Beach is a team where we've definitely seen
it's a comfort pick for
two teams do very well, though.
Yeah, it's a comfort pick for Sour Team and Purdue and Sheepa particularly. This is always one of their favorite maps, and it's something that really had lent itself to more of a Torvald Buck style and Androxus style. And Buck did get a buff. He got an ammo buff. I don't know if that's going to change his impact or ability to be played in some of these, like, when the bands get a little heavy. But I would expect that maybe a Maeve gets pulled out here. We didn't see the Eevee, which is going to be a good pick, too. I don't expect to see Tyra again, but because it's in the minds of all business, they may pick it up. It might be more of a trap on this map because she just can't get high ground and she can't get aggressed on pretty quickly.
Do you think that the Willow kind of filled that Eevee slot last game, like interchangeable maybe, or no?
No. Well, I think what Willow did was it really tried to focus on the damage on the point, and it really tried to shove them into bad spaces, but they had no one to capitalize on that. True. They didn't have Sheepa running in the way Xenos with Khan was running in to capitalize off of the damage they were doing from Pip and obviously from Tyra. So, I think that this is a map that would much more behoove a Willow, actually, because she can use the skybox to really aggress in the point fight, whereas she can only use that on the push or the or on the defense. And unfortunately in Ice Mines, most games are won on the point capture.
That's exactly how it goes that time around. As you can see up here above my head, all business with win number 1. 0 over there on the other side for Sour Team. And Genos getting picked first overall. That was sort of interesting last time around that they elected to go with
they gave up
Maldamba.
A lot.
That's right. They gave up a lot in the draft.
They did.
But they're reverting back now, going Genos Atlas is 1-2. Barrett Khan, though, the frontline priority continues. No different here in this league. I do like the Genos Atlas stack, though. Just that little extra damage on an already very damaging frontliner is scary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all business, though, getting their good end of the draft, too. EU is very formulaic. They have a strict, and I think Kresnik almost said it best. They have this kind of like, if A, then do B. If not A, and then C, do D. It's like, it's very formulaic. It's almost a math problem of where their priorities lie. Flowchart is what he said.
Flowchart.
That's a great way to describe this. So they usually get great drafts. And it's never the thing that's like, oh my God, whoa, what the crazy? But they're usually very good drafts, and that's what we're seeing today. The Kinessa, an ineffable special here. Sour Team are a little in trouble to deal with this. They've got to draft a flanker here, and I don't think the Willow will work.
They felt okay. I mean, it didn't fall flat necessarily last game. Maeve, of course, on Serpent Beach has made sort of a resurgence, not only on Serpent Beach, but just in Paladins in general. She's started to become one of the higher priority flanks. Is that her job this game, to deal with that Kinessa?
Absolutely, and it's just another thing for her to worry about. However, the peek and poke battle usually won by the Kinessa if the Kinessa's hitting shots, but the Maeve has more wiggle room to miss and still have some pressure because of the lack of reload. And she's got a lot of quick burst mobility, whereas Kinessa only has one. So if 2 Cat Burglar daggers go into the Kinessa, she may be forced to move, and the Maeve can move again, can chase, more daggers. Kinessa can't go anywhere at that point. It really starts to become who kind of hits first really gains a lot of the momentum in that fight.
Well, it's got to be Nino again. He had Willa last time around. Of course, this time going to Maeve. We talked about a little bit of his flexibility pregame, and he's already showing us that here. All business would go to set point if they're able to take Serpent Beach here. Sour Team looking to fend that off.
Ooh.
They're going to plant Zarini on the point right now. Good daggers. Those long-range daggers, they chunk you for a good amount. It sneaks up on you very much so. You eat one too many of those. Look at that. William Birkin already forced to burn his shield here. The wall comes out from him to block just a little bit more damage. Klosar's actually going to be the recipient of the first death in this one. The fight for the high ground really starts to build up here. Ninu, he's been on point already.
Yeah.
And Sour Team, they're fighting from the point now. They have 2 kills. This could already be capture number 1.
Now, and I love this, but it's Williams. it's not Williams' fault, but he puts Nalubka in a very bad situation where he needs somebody to bail like his team out a little bit. And unfortunately, Klosar cannot get the healing because William Birkin is so low and plays that dangerous game of throwing that shield up at about 20% health and then just barely rocket boots away. So Nalubka's got to focus all his healing there. Perdeaux finds the early kill. Now Klosar goes down, but he trades with Perdeaux as well. 99% though for Sour Team, and that's a big shot from Ineffable. Everything could turn here. Zarini does find Xenos, but if he hits this one more, it could really hold point.
When your Kness is able just to hang back and free fire with no threat of damage, now especially with Ninu dead, now he knows nobody's going to be flying around flanking him the wall, just adding a little bit of difficulty to that drone toss there. But now look how aggressive Ineffable is being. He's walking so far up, 93, 96 for All Business. They've answered back, and they've actually captured point number 1.
They look a little better on the day. They look pretty equally confident. I'd take it to where the way Renegades are playing against NIP, they just kind of have this pace that Sour Team doesn't want to match or hasn't been able to match. I don't know which one it is, Dave.
Yeah.
Although it is really good play, I think, from All Business in general. Ineffable kind of has a couple of moments where he doesn't quite get the shots off, doesn't quite get the angles. Ninu maybe stays ahead of that fight early, but Ineffable pulls it back. Here's the thing, that mobility, she gets in, up and over, and Kness is pretty much done for, but has she sacrificed her life in that process? 47L, finally, she gets picked up.
And Xenos rounds the corner at the right time, nets himself a double. The second chance is going to get that health bar nice and full there for Sheepa, but William Birkin's going to find the kill anyway. So Sour Team, they're down 4 members now with Ninu respawning. It's 3. But they burned that Midnight early on here, so they won't have that for the defense.
And Midnight Oil.
And burning that Midnight Oil. Really just working away. I mean, it is nighttime here on Serpent Beach. So
it's a great phrase to describe the Mayvold on this map.
It's a beautiful, beautiful phrase. You have a way with words, Evan, and it's always a pleasure.
Thanks, man.
To work with you and hear that way with words. That's no exception right there. Ninu, the long-range daggers continue, and that's a great example of it. Right onto the Damba they go. Back to base he goes. He'll respawn here with a minute left. Looks like just a clean sweep here for Sour Team. All Business just going to regroup and give this one more go.
I'm starting to think, and this is something that I'm sure Sour Team are starting to think too, should we keep giving Xenos Khan? Because he's kind of blowing us up here. He's kind of making the biggest difference. He's kind of applying this pressure that we're dealing with Ineffable sometimes. You know, we're dealing with Klosar quite a bit.
Yeah.
But Xenos shows up and he gets a double kill. And I'm not seeing the reciprocation of that on the side of Sour Team with Sheepa. Something may be given there. I don't know, Dave. It just feels like this guy's having his way, especially going against the Nara, who's just such an easy counter for that overpower.
I mean, he's had the ability just to be aggressive seemingly whenever he wants in this game. I mean, the double kill he netted because he ran around the back of Sour Team in that case, and Zarini's getting plugged out. He's very low right now. He's going to get the Genos mark for the healing. That's just going to keep him around mid-health right now. 0 seconds is now on the clock, so overtime is here. One team fight could be it for either team, but there's so many low health bars for Sour Team. Xenos, he's so low, but there's no damage going in onto him right now. There's the Dread Serpent. That sends Perdeaux running. Xenos is going to run around the corner right at the right time. That's a 4-kill fight for All Business. Only 1 on the opposite side for Sour Team.
And that is how you do it. I thought, you're wasting time. You're not doing it. I mean, you really should have just held on. Through time and space here could be huge.
Could be huge.
I don't think he can kill William, though, so it's maybe not big enough. He really is, though, in a great position to maybe catch them off guard.
Yeah, but there's no healing now for Sour Team.
You're right.
He does get a mark onto Perdeaux, but it's just a little bit too little too late. There is now the healing. He's able to rotate back into the fight, but the kill's still all going All Business's favor.
Bit of a gamble.
And it's 2-0 now.
It was a gamble, Dave.
It was.
He knew that if he showed himself too early, he was obviously dead. I mean, they just turn around, kill a Genos. But in that same way, he might as well been dead for that half of the fight because he wasn't doing any healing. He might have done himself better to just jump off the map, die, and then respawn with his team because they clearly had enough time to contest. So that might have been a mistake when he looks back at it. But overall, All Business are handling their business today. Xenos, another time on Khan where he just has too much damage and pressure.
Yeah.
And it forces Zarini and Perdeaux and even Ninu for a second into these low health positions. And Nalupka's like, I can't heal all you. I can't, Jopi, excuse me, I can't heal all you guys. And it just really throws him off.
And, you know, he's like very middle of the table damage-wise, but it's important damage. It's 28,000 damage worth of very important damage, and his slash line, you know, isn't otherworldly. But he's been there in the fights at the exact important time, and it's really shown an impact here. Perdo landing some good shots, but they're getting forced right off the high ground by who else but Xenos here.
And he got
the overpower right onto Jopi. That's who you want it to go to. So now they're without some healing here. Sour Team are on the point, though, but they're forced off now that the healing's all gone.
I mean, look at this. I don't see Atlas run in fear from many people, but Khan seems to be the guy he's scared of in a bar fight. I'm just not thinking that Khan can go to Xenos anymore. This is just all business, having complete control. The overpower's too good, reminding me almost of the way Phoenix used it.
Yeah.
And, you know, we saw a little bit of Khan yesterday, not really utilizing that overpower at the start of rounds, but you could see how impactful it is when you just take out that main healing source.
We talk so often about the team that kind of swings first. Well, they set the pace, and that's exactly what all business are doing right now. The Exile's good. And the second Exile's good. That's the healer as well for all business. That gets exiled out. A good double setback there, but he's going to give himself a second chance as well. Baits out the Dread Serpent, so well played there, but the kills are still coming up blue regardless. The Dread Serpent found one.
Yeah.
But what's important is all business. They're getting the rest of the kills in this one, and they get point number 3.
And that was the admission of defeat, in my opinion. When he stops right there, Sheepa just takes his selfie. He realizes the situation. It's almost like a guy at the end of a movie where he's surrounded, you know, Billy and the kid, and they realize we got to go out there and just shoot, but we're gonna die. How do we want to die is the question. And he chooses to go with acceptance of his fate. He put himself in this position to fight. He lost the fight. He's going to accept the defeat. But Xenos here, look at that against the Inara. You got to get this guy off Khan. You got to get Khan on your team. It's too effective against you today.
Yeah, I mean, today is the key word. I mean, you not only look at this game, harken back to the last game. His overpowers were good. His presence alone was so good. He was playing aggressively. He continues to play aggressively here. A setback is going to take away about 1/5 of his health, but that's something he'll just be able to shrug off with the help of the Damba in this case. Yeah, just free firing right now. The eyes are all set on Ineffable, but they're not able to clean up the kill. That's so unfortunate from Zarini. He bites off so much there, and his health bar now is at about half health. Ninu able to get in now, find a kill onto Ineffable. So the long range damage is gone, but this is a very close range fight. The Dome Shield's baited out now from William Birkin as well. So that gives him a little bit of time. Here's the second Dread Serpent
Too much
in just
value.
a couple of minutes, and he gets some good value out of it. Ninu, though, finds a kill, and he's just staying alive so long in this one. Finally, Klosar hits the important shots. A little bit of damage from up high right now from Jopi, and Klosar has to back off and regroup.
Yeah, but there's still, Dave, a whole minute. I mean, it felt like we were talking overtime there, and there's still so much time. William Birkin trying to run at Perdo, and Klosar is going to finish the deal. With the Cassie and a little bit of healing from the Lubka, they can actually do this. Through time and space may be needed. There's the seismic crash. They had to do something to stall this because Cassie's just too dangerous. She could probably, you know, one clip about 2 players here. She's going to get a nice heal from the Lubka. Almost.
Nearly.
Great stuff, though.
Nearly turned right around. That felt like an overtime fight.
It did.
And there's still 30 seconds left on the clock right now. Sour Team have 4 ultimates, only the seismic crash used there. There's some of the mobility.
Good pick.
It was only running, but very fast running, to be fair, from the Maeve. Walks around the side. The Lubka, unfortunately, back to base for all business. 15 seconds left, though, notably. That big brawl of a fight was happening with so much time left on the clock. There's still plenty of time for either team to win this round. Sour Team need to win it if they want this game to continue. All business could finish things here. Zarini being picked off could spell the end. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. Ninu and Perdo are going to answer back. 1-2 now for Sour Team. Make it 3. Make it a double for Ninu. With overtime ticking away, it looks like it's going to be enough.
So I'd love to look at the damage charts here, and then I'd love to take a look at the items. Khan sitting about midway, 56%, hitting every single overpower. But here's what matters. This is what matters about Khan. For those who want to kind of conceptualize it as, oh, he's got these abilities and he's got this thing. What matters is his potency in a small moment to get a kill. In that moment, Inara might not have been able to do that.
Sure.
Barrick probably could. But the ability for Khan to have this consistent, you're dying, and you're dead, and capitalize on that is the crucial aspect to what makes him such a deadly threat. And it's really having that finishing power away from your DPSs, taking the pressure off of them, and allowing them to just do damage. When you just do damage and someone else can clean up that damage because of their presence, their health pool, their healing, so to speak, like a front line, it's a whole nother aspect to your game that it's really hard to play around.
And this is the presence. I mean, he's staring down so much of the damage from Sour Team in this fight for the high ground, which is, of course, so important here on Serpent Beach. And time again, they're forced back.
Oh,
ooh,
I love it.
Nice. He dodges out the overpower, and that's one of the only ones we've seen, but the Dread Serpent is great, and William Birkin's able to benefit a kill from that one. Oh, he just dodges out the through time and space. Well aimed there from Jopie, but Xenos was just a little bit quicker on his feet. Perdo's trying to dance around this pillar and keep himself alive, and he trades out and he hits the shots. Xenos coming up short on one of the only engagements yet today. 85% here for Sour Team. They're fighting from the point that entire time.
Yeah.
Electing just to sit Zerini there while the rest of the team fights, and it worked out in their favor this time around. But they're being forced off, and now All Business are the ones on the point.
It's really the only play that I've seen where, you know, kind of All Business get it wrong. The miscalculation on the right champion, because he can bait that out so much. It's a good bowling ball to try and get as much shielding so that they can have to burn through as much damage. But at this point, Sour Team capitalizing off some of the mistakes from All Business. They're going to get their first round of point capture, start to push this one through. It's not over yet.
Not over yet. Not in the least. They could tie up the
Not
game
today.
here. Of course, no points to win right now for All Business. Just hoping to hold this one off and keep it from being 3-3. They have to win one more point fight. That's the name of the game here.
You mean just Jopin? Just Jopie? You know? I don't know.
You know, Evan, for someone who I just gassed up about having a way with words, every once in a while.
Every once in a while. Sometimes you got to risk it all to maybe have those big
That's
plays.
right. That's right. You gotta risk it for the biscuit in this case.
I lost the biscuit.
No, the bit was all right. I chuckled.
Yeah.
It's not too bad at all. All Business starts off well on the defense here. Klosar has been hitting very hard. I mean, we talked about Xenost on the con a good bit. Klosar getting his Cassie 2 games out of 2, and he's looked pretty good. Not necessarily lighting up the eyes, but the damage has been there.
No.
And the damage has allowed his team to really play in these games. So well played to Klosar as well.
Klosar's been a very good secondary option for this team, allowing Ineffable to kind of do what he does best.
Yeah.
It's a harder role, no doubt about it. But, you know, to do hit scan as well as Ineffable does, and to do those things like a Rock Monkey, you know, it's very, very hard to find as well. It may be easy, more simple, but executing on it, it's all about execution. You can't really miss. And so Klosar has a little bit more wiggle room, playing some more varied champions, not just about aim, but Cassie is about as close as that can be. A couple of kills here. It's still 50 seconds left. All Business on the defense. They're going to solve this problem for now, but Sour Team has another chance at it.
It's pretty humorous. There was a little engagement there where Ninu rounds the corner. Most of the fighting's going on the low ground, and then the Maeve just tosses around the corner, but Ineffable is waiting there, scoped in, as well as Klosar on the Cassie.
Right.
That 1-2 punch basically deleted Ninu right off of the map there and set up All Business for the fight win. 24 seconds now. So plenty of time for Sour Team to get back to it. Sheep is very low here. If Klosar can hit the final shots, the wall is going to prevent that from going through. Now about 10 seconds. The Sour Team needs to fight out through it. Again, remember, All Business not going to win the game here. Ninu taking a similar route to last time. Doesn't trade out his life here, but gets very, very low. Plugs a little damage away right now. All Business, they're topping off their health bars, but all of them are about mid-range here, but the kills are still coming up. Xenost and Klosar are going to be the ones to do it. Ninu's able to answer back with 1. William Birkin, though, makes it 3 now for the blue side. 4. It's not going to matter here. Maybe just a final kill. It is for Perdo, but it's still 3-2 now for All Business.
And the story doesn't change that All Business have been outperforming consistently. This is one round where they got it wrong. And that's what's really allowed Sour Team to get a little bit of momentum, a little bit of confidence. I don't think it's enough, unfortunately, with the way the game has gone. Klosar and Ineffable still playing great, both at 100,000 apiece. Only, I would say, about, 39, 38 damage away from one another. Pretty impressive stuff there to be able to be that close and separate yourself from Sour Team's great damage dealers as well.
38. That was really quick.
Yeah.
It took me until you finished that sentence to do all that math.
Yeah, it's a very hard... that's, you know what? I have my mind is like keyed in on solving those because I could solve the other ones pretty quickly, but those are the ones that always trip me up. So I just kind of trusted my gut there.
And your gut, you know, it didn't fail you this time around, so it's well played. Definitely 39 damage. I'm sure that gap's a little wider now with Ineffable finding kill number 1 here, especially on Ninu as well.
GG's.
The Maeve now off the base. Zerini headed back as well. 5 seconds remaining for that respawn, but All Business, they're in control of the ground here. The positional advantage, even only with 2 kills, is all Business need. They're fighting from the point with 45%. High ground going to Ineffable, nearly gets chunked out. There's the Dread Serpent, buys some time for Ninu. He must have some resilience because he was only running for a couple of seconds. There's the overpower onto Perdeaux. Great target for that one. Ineffable cleans him up through the overpower. Zarini could be going down here, and it could be.
It is going to
2-0. It is going to be with the Midnight. A bit of a last-ditch effort here, but it's not going to matter. Ninu's going to fall. And All Business, they find map number 2 here over Sour Team. They're 1 win away from taking the set.
Yeah, I think today is theirs. The way that these 2 games have happened, it's not been surprises. It's not been, like, I guess, accidentally. They have won these games for real. And it's just been better drafting. It's been Xenos kind of popping off. It's been great target prioritization. And it's been great, I think, aggression on these point fights. And everyone's learning a little bit. And whoever's keeping pace with that learning, you know, who's putting that time in, is kind of stepping forward, even though some of these other teams are a little more secure. It's one of the problems with being ahead of a team in a standings, because you feel like you're secure. You feel like, you know, what do I got to lose? Nothing really, except the game that I'm about to play.
No, I mean, that's entirely fair. I mean, no up or down to go here for Sour Team. But looking towards next split for All Business, I mean, that's where these eyes are. I mean, if you can win these games, it really shows you that you can beat these teams. You can be one of those top 2 teams who gets to go to MSI in this case. And All Business are looking, well, they're better than Sour Team today with the 2-0 lead here in this set. 15, 6, and 17 for Xenos. He's been hitting the overpowers. Ineffable played a big role in this game as well. All Business are just kind of firing on all cylinders.
You know, but this is where we don't give enough credit to teams in general, because it's so common that you just sometimes have days where teams are better than you or you're better than them. I mean, that's why the phrase, sometimes that's just how the ball bounces, right?
Yeah.
Even exists, because sometimes that's just how it bounces. The better team loses, you know? But they weren't better on that afternoon or that evening or that morning. And in Paladins, it's really common to see these teams that are just better always be better.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, we almost treat it as it's like, oh, you know, they're just better. But the continuous is a great bizarre for map 3. We have to also recognize the greatness of teams that can do that, like NIP on their 10-0 run, lost to Envy, but the fact that they didn't lose any of those games, I mean, that's an accomplishment in itself.
True.
Because it's just, you know, a lot of times, teams that aren't as good as you can beat you.
Yeah, I mean, any given Sunday is what they like to say.
That's true. Great one.
And a lot in the NFL, at least, as well.
What's that?
What?
Huh?
What? The NFL? Is that
Sorry.
a thing?
Yeah.
I hear the phrase "any given Sunday" as a Bengals fan a good bit, because we lose.
A Bruins and a Bengals fan? What are you,
and a Boston Red Sox fan?
Boston
All about
Red
the Bees.
Sox.
We're not talking about the Bruins here today. We're passing that one right on through.
Yeah, they lost, right? Yeah.
No, didn't catch the game last night.
Sorry, man.
And a Bachelorette fan. All the Bees. All the Bees.
And a Bachelorette fan. There you go.
That's right.
I love it.
I am a fan of the bands here, though. Getting Drogos off the board and Leon. Drogos has been...
What about Bizarre? Are you a big Bizarre fan?
Bizarre. You know what? Give me them all. I'm an All Business. I'm an All Business fan as well.
How do you feel about bagels?
Bagels are great.
Okay. What about just bread in general?
Too much
carbs depends.
Okay. All right. If you're on a dirty bulk or not.
I'm a Barrack fan. I love me some Barrack.
Gotcha. All right.
I do like Bizarre, though. Makoa notably gets through here with the Drogos and Leon off the board. Genos Barrack going the way of All Business. It's a pretty potent combo, though.
Yeah.
I forgot who it was that we sat down with, but they mentioned that, you know, Barrack is in a great spot as it is. When you can pair him with the Genos, I mean, that's even better.
Absolutely. I mean,
of course it is.
He gets back almost what he had before his weapon nerfs, which used to be exactly the same as Cassie, hitting for 650. Now hitting for that, I think 550 or 560, and really with that Genos mark getting close to that 600, 620 range that he was at, 625 essentially. And Monty going to be picked up, and she's one that has been in and out. This is a perceptual nerf that I think is impacting people, because the Pyre Bomb, or the Frost Bomb, still just as impactful, can have just as much speed. Yes, you have to sacrifice a little bit of the shielding, but I don't think that's what made her as valuable to a team. And so I'm just curious about this, whether it's just more of a perceptual, oh, Monty got nerfed, let's move away from that champion.
That's absolutely true. We just flat out have seen her less over the past few weeks. Granted, All Business picking her up here. Maeve again going over to the side of Sour Team. Wasn't fall flat on your face last game, but didn't have the impact at times maybe that they were looking for.
Right.
All business with the Genos, Amani, Eevee, and Shaolin.
So be it.
That's not a final tank. That's a third damage dealer. So they're going triple DPS on Bazaar, hoping to round things out here.
Well, we've actually seen Inara be one of the most effective champions on this map. Triple DPS I like, and one of the reasons I like it is because of Eevee. Her ability to be mobile on this map and gain some high ground perspective is really impactful. The Maeve is really going to have to shut her down early. Otherwise, the Cassie, I think, is going to have a tough time dealing with it. And let's send it to the in-house band.
There it is.
Hey. We going.
I love it. This is a new song. I dig it. I mean, we don't get to hear it.
Listen. Why do you think they've been, quiet? It's like Drake goes away for the winter because he's got some summer bangers about to show up.
He's hibernating for the winter.
Yeah.
This map, though, speaking of the music, that leads me to think about the map. I mean, the couple of times we've seen it, and I guess this is granted most maps in this game, but just being able to stick on the point and stay there, whether it be through healing or just inherent tankiness, is so important given that so much of the damage is going to be coming down from up above. You're going to send a point tank to the point, and then you're going to fight on these balconies up here. That's exactly what we see happening.
You got to push this. Oh.
It really puts a lot of pressure on William Birkin to stay alive as the lone tank here in this composition.
I think this is a risky one, man, because he just ignored Ninu, acting like Ninu forgot about him. He didn't. Ninu's ready to go. Is that Street Justice? Or is that just damage happening? I'm not quite sure. It is Cat Burglar still, so it's just a ton of damage. 2 daggers into a dash. So fast, if you blinked, you missed it. But it is Sour Team who have had control now and able to zone.
And notably, I didn't catch who's flexing onto healer this game, but Nalupka, excuse me, is playing Amani this time around. Xenos is going to be the one rotating over to the Genos this time around. 93% for Sour Team. I'm not sure All Business are in range to get a touch. They get the overtime, but still all kills coming up blue here. They're going to be pushing with 1 point on the board.
This feels like one where, let me put it this way. It feels like a bit of a forced triple DPS. There's nothing that this looks great against. I don't see this composition, especially with Makoa Khan. I don't see triple DPS dominating this in any fashion or any way, because Khan and Makoa are good enough to act as DPS essentially. So they're able to kind of match them at their own game with their own ability to just have better ults, have more health, and just as much damage. I mean, Sheepa walking down to Lubka, finding 2 there. It's a bit of an interesting call. It really hasn't worked out this far. We'll see if they can turn it around here, but Payload slowly but surely moving past really the most important chokehold of Bazaar.
And the off tanks, if you even consider Makoa an off tank, not really, but they've had such a huge impact on this game. I mean, Sour Team have found kills from many different sources, but it's been Zarini and Sheepa this time just running members of All Business down. Ninu and Perdo are going to find the kills in this case. But 7 and 8 streak, 8 streak, and 8 streak now for both of the tanks here on Sour Team. They're really taking this game over. Beautiful hook there to really start this one off on the right foot. All Business just never really caught their footing well in that round.
And when I like a triple DPS, to be honest, Dave, it's kind of into maybe a composition with some decent front lines, maybe something like an Inara where it's not a potent front line against you, plus maybe a couple damage dealers that are not very mobile, essentially, but good damage. I'm thinking like a Tyra, stuff like that could be taken advantage of when they've got so much pressure, really no way out. I just don't see any susceptible target on the side of Sour Team. Looking at this, I don't think All Business have the lineup to do it, but let's see. A big mistake from, I think, Klosar not respecting Ninu on that first trade. That ended up kind of snowballing things, so Klosar needs to find some value with this Eevee.
He's able to dodge out the hook.
Oh, nice shot.
The shots from Sheepa are great. Another one.
Bye-bye.
He's in the ice block. He's able to hit this final one. He doesn't have any more of his movement, and he is going to get sent right back to the Shadow Realm in that one. But here's the first look at the Dragon here. But, well, as soon as it came, there it goes. It gets immediately deleted. Perdo cleans up the kill.
They found him.
Onto the Imani, and they're fighting from the point here. All Business. Health bars are low. They're not much longer for this world.
Yeah.
Point number 3 is going to go the way of Sour Team.
And this is what we've seen with Bazaar. It's just it's just one team understands it and one team doesn't. One team's draft is weird, one team's isn't, and obviously Sour Team go here to try to get their footing. They've got it for sure. just rare to see not only the Makoa taken, but then the Khan as well. And the priority shifting in this way, just really, really unique here.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thing to look at as well, is that all business, I mean, they get Barak Genos, which is huge, but in drafting
not
the
in
triple
comparison to Makoa Khan.
Right. The comparison is that.
Unfortunately, you let the only thing that's bigger get through, essentially. It's like Godzilla fighting, all the monsters. It's like,
Not that I need to go off on a tangent. I'm not going to go on a tangent.
Did you
but
see
I
Godzilla, by the way?
No, but the review. I read a review for the movie that was like, too many monster fights. Do not recommend. Like, why do you go see that movie?
Maybe
1 star. Too many monsters fighting
he
one
saw
another.
Millie Bobby Brown and said, "This is the next Stranger Things. I know it. It's going to be just as intriguing." And oh wait, no, it's actually just Godzilla. I missed.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're right. He was hoping that Stranger Things is going to be the way it was, but it was not.
Monster fights.
Xenost makes a Stranger Thing out of Perdue. Sheep has been hitting some of those shots this entire game onto Closar. Doesn't happen that time around, but this payload's very close. And honestly, for the first time this entire game, All Business finds the fight win and forces Sour Team back. But there's still so much time, and the payload didn't really stop on its way through. It's an interesting map to defend on as well, with the pathing some teams can take, of course. You're able to get out of the little gates that only open for red team or blue team, depending on what side you're on. But it's a tough map to defend on, I would say.
She gave that choke up that easily. I'm not sure why you defend it.
Or push on, rather.
Yeah, I mean, wow. And also wasted pot frost bomb. Had no idea. I didn't even come close to that. Imani throwing the dragon out, but it doesn't look like it's gonna get damaged. Sheepa just goes to her. She's dead. Oh boy.
This one's going in, Evan.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. That's just, for All Business to come out and have that performance, it's rough because they're doing so well. And it just feels like they gave it up in the draft. That's Paladins, though. Sometimes you will lose in the draft, and that's what makes it rewarding. And when you do it right, it feels good. And when you're on that side, the All Business, the Sour Team world, you feel like the best players in the world at first-person shooter games. But unfortunately, when you're on the side of All Business, it could be a real kind of downspin because
any given Tuesday.
Yeah, any given Tuesday, you could lose on Bazaar. That's what they say.
What a bizarre.
What a bizarre.
It was a bizarre game, number 3. Sour Team does claim the victory in this case. All Business still just needing 1 map. Sour Team needing 2 more. As we take a look at the post-game stats, All Business didn't really, the damage numbers were still kind of there.
Yeah.
But that's what you would hope for when you have a triple DPS composition. Just too much coming back at them from the side of Sour Team. 3-1-11, 12-2-7 on the Makoa. 6-1-8. Anywhere you look at another guy on Sour Team who kind of took that game over. So well played on their part to really draft, I would say, their way through a win there.
Yeah. Again, it wasn't a matter of what All Business had.
Wow. It was sight line there.
Yeah, it was a matter of Sour Team getting how many good picks. It's just so dominant what they got. And maybe if you had a Cassie there instead of the Imani to really threaten the Makoa, especially in the Ancient Rage, to really burst down the Khan and force his kind of weaknesses to come out, which is, I'm not the best point tank. I'm really good at being somebody you can't only focus on and then doing a lot from that.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe things would have changed, but there was just so many things in their favor. And now they got to go to another map, having given Sour Team some momentum. And it's Stone Keep, baby. So you got to get this one right if you're All Business. Not want to let Sour Team do the reverse sweep on you.
And that was that was the most convincing map up to this point. 4-3 goes the way of All Business. Could have gone either way. Then, of course, 4-2 to All Business. But that was a fast 4-0. I didn't quite catch the final time, but probably 6-7 minutes on that one. Sour Team are going to look to continue that bounce forward in their performance here, of course. Needing the full reverse sweep. 2 more wins for them. All Business playing on map set point for the last couple here. Bomb King Leon getting banned out. Smartly taking away the Makoa. In this case, though, are All Business.
I think that the Makoa being taken away is almost, in Europe, it is this Gargantuan. It is this Leviathan. And you have to ban it if you don't get it. It's great. Sour Team were able to get it, but All Business kind of committed a cardinal sin, not leaving it banned. And also not getting it. That's just something that, you just don't do simply in this region. Khan and Genos, that's a good pairing. I think Xenos needed to stay on this champion. If things go the way that they did before, this is looking like a draft that All Business can get right and win the game from.
All Business have only lost the game where Xenos isn't on con.
That's right.
So, you know, take that what you will, but they get it this time around. So maybe that bodes well for All Business in this case. Of course, the Genos going to All Business as well. They're going to answer back with the Damba. That's sort of the method that we've seen things. Genos on one side, Damba on the opposite. We've seen some Furia come through as well. But Damba normally holds that second role. Barrick rounding out the All Business lineup already looking better than last time around.
Yeah, Barrick is gonna hold down the point really nicely. Imani's not a bad pick,
no.
Especially since this one will now not be a Nalubka, Imani. This will actually end up being able to be either most likely a close R Imani, and then you'll have Ineffable able to flex here. The Kinessa can come out, and they've done it before, but the Cassie is going to ward that away. And my question is, do you want Cassie more than Imani? And I'm surprised that they don't, because you could have Barrick Cassie there and really, really given a lot of damage to the table. The Kinessa is a threat in itself.
Yeah.
And so in many ways, they will have to play around her. And with not a lot of dive with the Vivian and Cassie, they'll have a chance to.
And Ineffable likes Kinessa on this map.
He does.
It has its potency in that initial point fight. There's kind of those two zones that the Kinessa likes to hang out in. Doesn't go all the way up to that high ground in the keep. Just plugs away from the little staircase right outside the base, just beneath where the camera would be right there. But then is able to move up a little bit once the team either wins the fight, hopefully, if you're on the side of All Business in this case. But they've definitely drafted themselves a better composition here, I would say, Evan. I would agree with you on that matter. The Genos, of course, lifting everyone on the team up. Genos Barrick is great. Genos Imani, I mean, I could run down the entire lineup. The Genos buff just, well, it makes everyone better in this case. They have a great lineup on the opposite side, though, if you look at Sour teams as well. The Atlas, great at controlling space. And then Vivian, if you can get her on that high ground and get her onto that platform right there that overlooks the point, things could get dangerous if she's able to free fire.
Well, good wall there. The Unstable Fisher looking pretty stable to me, blocking all that damage. And Sour team having a lot of wiggle room as a result of it. Look at this pressure coming through. Ninu really focusing on the con. Xenos having to retreat. This high ground push has been very, if anything, although not successful, very consistent. They've grouped up. They've really played as a team, as a unit, but now they're getting pushed off full high ground, and this is just like a problem, man. Close R, nothing's coming from this Imani, and I'm just not sure why you're prioritizing it over this Cassie.
Taking it now 2 games in a row. And the second game starting off very much the same as the first one did. Finally now getting on the point is Sour team, and I actually don't mind that. I kind of looked back there and was wondering why they weren't fighting from the point yet, but it was really only Perdeau that was in range to get a touch onto it.
Yeah.
And he just didn't want to poke his head around the corner. Would have put him in danger. He figured an extra couple ticks on the point are not going to matter, especially not when you're 90%. Well, it's going to stall out at 90%. There it goes. But they're going to capture point number 1 here, as nobody's in range on the side of All Business. Point number 1 goes the way of Sour team. The reverse sweep takes 1 step further to being complete.
At this point, you've really got to get your bearings if you're All Business. You've played a great first half, but Sour team are coming out in the third quarter, and they're absolutely demolishing you, and they're showing you why they're in front of you in the standings. And you have to somehow find a way to bounce back. This is the game you need to win. If it goes into a game 5, things shift dramatically towards Sour team's favor, because it feels like they've unlocked the source code, and it's been 2 loot losses in a row from All Business with really a diminished sense of confidence heading into that one. So you have to treat this like this is your game 7, so to speak.
And that's when momentum really swaps. Right now, All Business, they still have a little wiggle room, but you can't really think of it that way. But if it's tied up at 2, the team who's coming in with 2 straight wins is going to be the team playing with the momentum. Perdeau, a beautiful shot there onto Close R, make it a double onto William Burke. And this payload's going to go through with 3 members down for All Business, provided they're not able to jump off of the edge and get a touch. And Xenos going down would spell the end of it. He has to back off and get some healing. He does just that, but the dismounts are good. The kills are good. And Sour team, well, they're good. This payload shortly is going to go through. Oh, the Dome Shield, though, could buy some time, and it does just that. Actually, Zarini getting taken out. I could eat my words here, but the firing away from Ninu with the Sentinels out buys a little bit of time, buys a lot of damage. So is he able to win this engagement? Oh, he is. Oh, my. That just shows you the power of the Sentinels there. The kills right now are blue, but everyone's just poking back and forth. Ineffable finally finds the end to the Ninu reign right now, but there's still 50 seconds left. I'm thinking this is overtime yet again.
Exactly.
Still plenty of time for Sour Team to come back and push this one in.
They are right there. So everything that they did, they're fine. They're fine. Take a reset. They're pushed back so far. They have to stay on the point. It's almost a 6th man at this point because you have to stay there to contest. And it really is just a great position for Sour Team to be in. Looking for a pick, maybe a setback to set it up, and maybe a wall to kind of isolate somebody. If they find one, this is going to be very, very hard to stop. That might just be enough pressure because now 2 tanks need healing. Khan forced to use his battle shout by himself. There's the setback, but the shield blocks it. A second chance as well from Atlas. Birkin goes down. This has to be it. I don't see a way they can drop down and deal with this damage.
That's another Dread Serpent almost immediately. Just a little bit of icing on the cake in this case, though. A final kill there as well. That's exactly it. I mean, once the 1 kill came through, especially onto Xenost, William Birkin couldn't really solo tank it. And that's really all she wrote. 2 in here for Sour Team. 0-0-5 for Jopi. Staying alive is, of course, important for a healer, as well as everyone else in the game. And everyone else on Sour Team, only 1 death. There's really that 1 defensive stand that All Business had where they were able to answer back with any sort of kill presence.
Right.
Ineffable 1-1-1. He'll look to have a bit of more pressure here on this second point fight. He unfortunately was basically eliminated, not necessarily by death, but by too much offensive aggression from Sour Team last time around. Oh, and he gets poked out yet again. He's taking a look here at the high ground. And not so much at the point here from Ineffable.
And really, they'll know where the Amani is with the scout. That's the big key because they're expecting her to use it to start this fight out. But luckily, Ineffable is putting enough pressure onto the front line. And Ninu's going to rotate, and I think that's an early rotation back from Ineffable. I like Ninu's positioning, but Ineffable hitting that first shot really forced the shield up. I think you just stay there. I don't think he's pushing you. And maybe that's a little too early of kind of getting out of the fight. Xenos, though, picks up a big kill, and Zarini goes down thanks to Ineffable as well. So maybe the safe game ends up working out for them.
Well, it keeps his life, if nothing else, and he's able to get back into the fight and find Zarini. Xenos, with full health now, is up behind Ninu, but there's too many people on too many different sides. He gets exiled out. The Sentinels come through. That rips through the shield. The shout's going to give him just a little bit of time, a little bit of healing. Here comes the Dragon into the high ground. The Sentinels could have something to say about that. The health bar is about halfway done now, though, but the final burst damage sees it through. Perdeaux, he wraps around the backside, finds Ineffable. Kosar trades it out. 97% for All Business, 51 for Sour Team. Zarini's dancing on the point. If William Birkin goes down here and he ends up going down, that's a big loss here. You might not even be able to get back in time for this fight if Xenost ends up going down as well, and there's just too much damage. He's being pocket healed right now.
Yeah.
Is the Atlas of Sheepa.
Yeah. I think this one's over, Dave, because of the fact that they just were not able to have that secondary damage dealer the way Vivian was able to contribute. This Ineffable has to hit big shots. I just don't think there's enough time. Vivian's damage just forces Birkin off the point every single time before Zarini. And that's it. I mean, that's the equation.
I do have to give a nod.
Well, not a nod.
What?
You're going to give a nod?
I'm handing one over.
No. Dave, those are valuable. You got to hold on to that.
All right, then I will give a wink over to the side of Sour Team. That was a good Dread Serpent in my eyes. I mean, it's a small play, not like the most impactful, but just zones it, throws it right at the front of the point. He knows that anyone who's going to try to get into that zone in the overtime period is just going to end up running out and running away. So just a small little something I noticed in that I really did enjoy, but Sour Team, they're pushing for another 4-0 here, and that would tie it up 2-2.
Is that a Dave wink or is that a Hades wink, walking back after Kanga wins?
Well, nobody can match the Hades wink.
That's a lot of currency to be given away.
Right.
Yeah.
That is above my pay grade.
Okay, all right.
I'm dealing in pennies down here while you're talking dollars.
I'm talking dollars. I'm talking dollars. You're dealing in pennies. Okay. I see where
I give away my winks like pennies, which, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. It devalues the Dave wink, but
in many ways, there's value being given to a lot of people.
At the end of the day, there's an exchange of value,
yeah.
And that's really what matters. A good defensive foot in the ground here for All Business, but this is very eerily similar to what we saw last time around, where they were able to stall things out. The payload, granted, not nearly as close as it was last time. Sour Team were able just to clean up one in that final fight and get the payload moving through here. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that actually might have saved Perdeaux's life. I think the root came through. Unfortunately, Perdeaux does end up dying. The Dread Serpent makes it a 2-for-2 fight right now, but the health bar is in favor of All Business. As I say it, though, William Birkin gets shredded by the Sentinels. Ineffable cleans up Ninu here. Sour Team with 30 seconds left are going to back off, get a little regroup in. That's what's so important about the Vivian Sentinels. She had those out, and then recharged another set of Sentinels that she'll have coming into this final team fight as well.
Yeah, I mean, she's just such a, I think an incredible player. I mean, champion. When she's used in the right capacity, she really will win you a game.
Yeah.
If she is in the right team composition, on the right map, against the right other team composition. It seems like a lot of variables, but not every champion can do that. Vivian is just, she has an extreme level of, there's nothing to be able to stop this. But somehow the defense ends up going through. So finding a couple of kills there. Sour Team maybe bail themselves out early. Xenos with a good overpower here in the review, but my goodness, thought that might have been it, Dave.
I mean, it was a 5-member strong Sour Team and a 0-member strong All Business. That is an absolute bailout of a mistake there from Sour Team, not getting on to the payload to stop the overtime. That likely would have rolled through. A little bit of a hiccup here in the plans of Sour Team, but they burned a lot to try to get that one pushed through, and it worked out. They won the team fight. That very well could have gone in, and very well should have gone in.
It's got to be by that point.
But the payload was not touched on by Sour Team, so now they're going into this ultless. Got the overpower and the dragon for All Business, so not a wild disadvantage. The overpower, of course, being the most impactful, I think, for the All Business side.
I just think you need to overpower Ninu.
Yeah. I was wondering, because Ninu's been such a nuisance on this Vivian this entire game. Not going for the Vivian right there. I mean, saving it maybe for a little bit later, but that opens him up to round this corner here. Look how much he's doing to 3 different members of All Business. But he walks right back into the through time and space, and that's another bailout there, because Ninu rounded that corner, did way too much damage on 3 separate members.
Okay.
So well played there for All Business.
Okay, Sheepa still going to get the better end of the trade. I mean, not able to kill any of these front lines and not prioritizing high ground seems to be a big mistake on the side of All Business. Ninu is back, and they found some damage. That's good, though, because finally applying some pressure. However, no one's been able on the side of All Business to make Sour Team pay, and they've still retaken that high ground really nicely. Joby with a kill on the close arm, and now Vivian. Ninu has just free reign.
The fast cap nets them 85% as they're forced off here. Ninu returns to the rapid fire with that 70-round clip on the Vivian.
Hello.
Sentinel goes out, and this is a very similar position to what we saw last time. A good zoning. Dread Serpent's not going to let All Business move very far forward at all. 93% for Sour Team. The damage is all red.
Oh my god.
Ninu finds a kill as well. But there is a fight going on the point right now. It's all going to be down to Xenos on this con to get in there and get the touch as William Birkin is back at base. Jopi gets cleaned up, so the healing is gone now, but the kills comes up for Sheepa. Sour Team looking like they're going to clean this one up.
Yeah, they look like they are.
Although,
you never know. Stars there, and now they've got William back, but just too much too soon. And it's going to go 2-2. This is a rough one to lose. All Business now.
Tough.
Out of the last 9 points, they've only got 1 of them. Sour Team 8, essentially, in the last 2 games. It was a 4-0-4-1, and now, Dave, things are looking dire heading to a Game 5. Reverse sweep seems not just possible, it seems likely.
Yeah, the momentum.
Hit the broom out.
That's in favor of Sour Team right now. They've won 2 straight. All Business looked like they were going to take it, but I think the problem is the Sour Team. We talked about how well All Business was playing. Sour Team's such a good team, though. You give them an inch.
Yeah.
They're going to take that inch and then some. They're going to take the full-on mile. That's what they've done here. 2 wins straight for them. Looking for the 3rd to complete the reverse sweep. Down to a best of 1. Well played there from Sour Team. Ninu had a great game, 11-4-13 on the Vivian. 6-2-12, of course, for Sheepa, making his presence felt on the Atlas as well. Just too much free firing, I think, from the Vivian. Too much damage coming through from those Sentinels.
It's just unfortunate to see the way that, not what we're seeing right now. That looks good, but it's unfortunate to see the collapse here as far as the play. And you really do hope for a team like this. Doesn't have anything to really gain from it. Sour Team certainly don't have much to lose, but All Business really showing that, like, at the end of this, we can really close out a set. We can do it.
Yeah.
And you just see this is why it's really hard to win championships. At any level for anything, you have to finish. You can't just have a great moment. You can't have 3 great moments. You've got to complete. And that's what often is so hard, especially when you're against another talented opponent. Really closing it, finishing it out, having that moment. It's something that, eludes a lot of people in all business. They've got one more chance, Dave. It's not all grim.
No.
It's not looking great, but they've got one more shot, and it's their map. That's the good news.
Absolutely.
And they're going to your favorite map.
My favorite map. Doesn't start with a B, surprisingly. It's
man.
Frog Isle.
Bummer.
Big bummer.
Oh, I almost thought
Big bummer.
we were going to be able to sit in our chairs. My bad.
What are you talking about? We don't have chairs. We stand here for 6 hours.
I mean, listen, I've how many hours of probably thousands of Paladins broadcast hours I've had. And there were some times where I've just walked off and we're on camera. Because I'm just thinking we're not on camera. Like, I did a whole draft once like this. We're just really doing the draft, and I just did this, and I just sat. And I just kind of chilled. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Look, dude, and I didn't even know. I was just looking at the draft. I mean, I've done some things, man.
Well, you have what do they call that in risk management? You have more exposure. You have more exposure to risk in the thousands of games you've done.
You're right. That,
eventually something like that's going to happen.
I wonder what you're going to do.
I'm sure I've already done. I'm sure I've already done something.
Yeah, you've done a lot of crazy stuff.
It gets wild when I'm in here.
Dave is crazy. You guys don't know, but
got to be careful.
This flannel, oh boy, comes off mid-set, and nobody wants it. All right?
No, it's way too cold to do that. Nobody wants it. That is harsh. That is
Listen, somebody wants it. Nobody in here wants it. Yeah, I'm a taken man. So are you, by the way.
Fair. Yeah, no, that's very fair. Yeah, no.
So I'm saying, why is it coming off, man?
It's not. The play is just getting too wild. The draft is getting too wild for me.
It is.
Con Genos, Eevee. I'm yoinking this one back. We're digressing immediately from all of this.
Sometimes it has to happen, man.
No, I don't want to let it happen.
I think it's impossible to not happen sometimes.
Yeah, well, Kinessa's on the board here.
Yeah. It's another B. Love the board.
What? The board. Yeah, like Kinessa starts with a K.
No, the board. Maldamba.
We have really gone off the rails here in this draft.
Dave, the key is just getting back on without announcing it.
Here we are, back on track.
and to be fair, this is a good lineup. And for all business, I don't know if the Ashe is going to have the impact they want. We haven't seen her all set, and we haven't seen the Fernando either.
Yeah.
Going pretty deep into these bans. Con, though, on the side of Sour Team, no longer all business is winning kind of key, but still a very dangerous champion on this map.
Now you can sit. The range advantage.
Oh, keep the shirt on, man. Come on. Dave. Fine.
Hold on. All right, we're back. We're buttoned. I do like... It's been an interesting dynamic to watch, I think, on Frog Isle, where, originally just having the sniper, just having that range advantage could be enough to net your team the win.
Sure.
But that's not really been the case the last handful of times we've seen this map. The dive ability that Ninu brings, could just offset that inherent range advantage entirely.
Yeah, I think, Dave, there's so much to this. I've seen the Eevee be great and create this pressure on the Kinessa that she folds under. And I've also seen the Eevee have zero impact.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I trust in Ninu's ability to play the situation correct, but it's very execution heavy. So far, executing really nicely here, but we haven't seen the sniper poke his head yet. I know Ineffable's looking for that shot.
He's just hanging out off there to the side. Wow, gets chunked out pretty heavily, and it's not even from Ninu. It's Sheepa running down the rest of the all-business lineup. They're able to answer the kill there, but nobody's really on the point just yet. One kill apiece now for both sides. Just trying to play that range there as Ineffable. Xenost, of course, going on to the Ashe this time around. Catches a shot. He has to be careful here.
He does.
He's catching way too many, and Ninu goes in. He capitalizes.
Got to punish it. He's not going to.
Now he and Klosa are going to go toe-to-toe here in this 1v1. The blast shots are good. Again, it's a little bit of AoE, gets a little bit of an explosion damage there, and gets his second kill of this engagement. Now he can kind of run wild here in the all-business lineup. He is going 2v3 right now with the help of course, of the Fernando of Sheep on the opposite side.
Yeah, and this is what Sheepa can do well with Fernando. Be aggressive, have health, have a little bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card, have the Khan on his team, which would cancel the shield in the commander's grab and really force him into a bad spot here. And kind of be like, you know what? This is all we need. I don't need to kill you. I could die right here, but because I'm here, we're going to win the point.
Still only 96%, but it's all done and dusted now. And what's important to look at here is they're pushed so far up with only one member of Sour Team back on the point, and they're still winning some of these kills. I mean, the stagger already begins, unfortunately for Sour Team. All Business answer back here. Xenos getting up and getting aggressive. I mean, that could have gone the wrong direction if Sour Team were able to set up camp right outside the All Business base and get the kills. There's the kill. No assert dominance is going to get you on from that far out.
Nope.
And the kills, they're coming up blue. Or red.
Yeah.
Not blue.
Yeah.
Red.
Sour Team continue, man. They're looking good. I think you gave some veteran players too much of an opening here, and they have absolutely clawed their way back. And it just feels like a wide open breach. There's no stopping the defense. You best just let the wall down and try to go toe-to-toe because they are getting in, and it's almost a 2-0 again. A minute and 35 here. Big shots. Ninu's playing well on the EV. That's what you don't want to see if you're All Business.
It's kind of where this game hinges, isn't it? If Ninu's able to just deal with the back line of All Business, then they don't really have a leg to stand on in this case, and he's done just that. The shoulder bash gets Xenos in there and aggressive, but here's Ninu yet again hitting his good shots. The Ash is really the only line of defense right now for All Business. A barrage is ready for Victor as well. If too many members of All Business poke their head out of their base, the barrage is going to come raining down. And does not necessarily bode well for the blue team right now. Assert dominance did get used. Not really to much effect there other than some stunts and some kills. There's the Ice Storm into a Dread Serpent, though. Sheepa almost runs right off the map, but he tows himself right back in.
Watch
out.
Dash
as well, getting up in the face of Xenos now. Who's going to win this engagement? It's a heavyweight brawl. Unfortunately, it's not going to end as a 1v1. William Birkin's the last to fall, and Sour Team, they're going to grab point number 2 here. One point, I should say, and one payload away from completing the reverse sweep.
Man, this is really happening.
It is. Don't rub your eyes. You're seeing that correctly?
I'm seeing it correctly. Wow. Well, hats off to Sour Team for really battling back in a set where they could not figure things out in the first couple of games.
Yeah. I think, I hate making predictions, but I think they're just playing with too much momentum now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, All Business,
they can
do it, but it's just a noticeable shift where Sheepa has 2 deaths, Ninu has 2 deaths, and that's all they've been able to find for All Business, and that's because it's really been Sheepa and Ninu on these point fights.
They're like so aggressive.
Right, they're so aggressive, and that opens them up, of course. That's the Sour Team coming in, 10, 7, 6 are the 3 remaining streaks, thanks to the 0 deaths. That's a good plug shot there from Ineffable, forcing out the ice block. But he's going to get the Astral Mark to gain some healing right on back. The Kinessa hasn't been horrific, but he just hasn't really had the space thanks to Sheepa and Ninu in this case. And now here comes the rest of the rundown. That's a double kill from the Khan, a triple kill make it. Could be a quadra now onto William Birkin.
Yeah,
he's gonna get it. That's 4 for the Khan. Americon, 100 pounds for each of the kills in that fight on those plates. 400 pounds getting curled there by the American Eagle.
Zerini playing like a genie right now. Magic. Magic.
Right back to the way with words. I tell you, for every one, you got 10 more.
There you go. Great commander's grab as well. Commanding the fight. It's almost an understatement, his impact on this game and his impact for this team.
And it's been for both sides, though. Not necessarily Zerini, but the Khan in general. And when All Business were playing well, it was Xenos popping off on the Khan, and in this case, it's going all the way of red. Ninu now is going to get aggressive onto the healer.
Yeah.
And that's going to be good for a kill, but Zerini is going to be the one to get the 2 again. So he had 4 in the last one, 2 in this one. And this payload's moving forward to end the set.
Couple points. Great to see a guy like Zerini still stay motivated, find his way back to LAN, even after supporting and helping out with Na'Vi. Not a lot of guys can say they played with Na'Vi. Not a lot of guys can say they won with Na'Vi, and he did both. And I think one of those things is it tests you as a player. When you see that glimpse of that great level, you want to get back to it as soon as possible. And a lot of people get discouraged because they feel like, oh man, it's such a grind. Will I ever get back? And Zarini just puts his head down, puts the work in, and he's rewarded with moments like this. Reverse sweep today. Also, shout out to Nalupka. I believe actually, no, Jopy for hitting that through time and space, which really opened up that fight. He got Ineffable, the sniper, out with his ultimate, and you know, that's huge.
It is, absolutely. Really opens the door. I believe he was, Zarini's wearing the PPL player badge, which you always like to see. He's going to get a chance to go toe-to-toe with some of those guys here in a few weeks at the mid-season invitational. Of course, Sour Team are going to make their way through to that one, so he's going to get a chance to do it all again at LAN here. It's Payload very close to going through. Immortal comes out as well as the barrage that found some chunk damage. Sheepa, right through the Assert Dominance, finds the kill here. Jopy's going to top off Zarini. There's only 3 members left alive now for all business, and they need to find something to keep it alive. Closar finds a kill, but Ninu, unfortunately, with his second, is going to stop things off here. Good Dread Serpent sends Ninu running, but Perdeaux off to the side. He's finding the kills. The Assert Dominance is not going to be enough. Sour Team, well, they reverse sweep. 4-0, 4-1, 4-0. And they win 3 straight to win our first set of the day.
And, you know, I will say this. Sour Team now a team with 4 members, actually, who've played in the PPL. Zarini joining the cast of Perdeaux, Sheepa, and Ninu, and Jopy the only one left. So now somebody's got to call up a healer. Viral, maybe you got to get sick, man. You know, let Jopy kind of sub in for you something. And I think at the end of the day, this is a team that, in a few weeks, like you mentioned, will have LAN experience, all of them.
Yeah.
And against PPL teams, you would assume, they've got a little bit of a run to make, but I have a strong confirmation that they will have to and will be playing a PPL team.
It's going to be fun to see how they match up.
It'll be fun.
And Sour Team, Penta is the other team we're going to get to see play next. They're obviously going to be going to MSI as well. And it's been, you know, we've been able to see them all go toe-to-toe with the minor league teams, but really seeing how they match up with some of the Premier League teams, I think there's going to be some good sets in there.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's going to be great. I still think Penta are a little bit more poised to be successful, but you can never count out veterans in moments like LAN.
No,
that's where you really have to look at it. I mean, you look at any of these finals, you look at any of these big moments, it's a lot of experience that usually kind of gets the job done. Even though there's some great talent, you do need those people who are like, I'm not afraid of the moment. To go ahead and really step up. And that's what both teams are going to have. Penta, though, I think are just they got this rhythm going to them. And I've always thought Simsy is just he's a MVP caliber player, and if he's on his game, he brings a dynamic that it's kind of like Tenor, you know, that like, man, how do we stop this guy? Like a Mood Tour Creatives on the right day. It's like, oof, this is tough.
Well, we are going to take a quick break, but you're going to get to see that guy, Simsaloo. He's playing next, right after this.
Brought to you by Skillshot, Hi-Res Studios, Evil Mojo, INAP, SteelSeries, Respawn.